we are already almost completely done with Autumn Plains. Even though this is one of the bigger homeworlds in any of the original Spyro games, it's not taking us all that long. And again, we actually encounter moneybags 2 more times right in a row before we leave Autumn Plains. Just why?
I can let you into the little castle over there in exchange for a few gems. What do you say?
I say I don't like you.
No one's been through that portal in years. I never thought I'd find a sucker. I mean,
what?
You're a shrewd customer, Spyro.
Mm-hmm. That's totally what you were gonna say, huh? Oh, and also the line that he has is just like, what?
Have fun over there. Say hi to Ripto if you see him.
Almost suggests that they're in cahoots. Almost. And this is the last main level in Autumn Plains, Shady Oasis. But we are not going to go there yet. I just went over there to show you where the portal was and also to get those gems over there. However, we are instead going to get these gems over here and also go down this way, in which we'll find moneybags yet again! First he's over there, then he's over here. He's over there, and over here. Over there, and over here! Which one of you is the real moneybags that we all know and hate? It's so confusing. Is there like an army of moneybags clones that you're going to, like, use to attack the Jedi? I don't know Star Wars that well.
This speedway free of charge, Spyro. Love to. Unfortunately, the speedway rules require me to charge a small fee.
You conveniently left out the fact that you were the one who wrote the speedway rules, didn't you?
You've chosen wisely.
It's only 100 gems, though.
I bet a quick dragon like you will win your money back in no time.
Jeez, I mean, you gotta think, since we went to Magma Cone, I've paid moneybags, let me think, 700 gems. God, I entered Magma Cone with 4,000 gems, and now I have, how many? Hold on. Wait, it says right there, 3,763. Have you no shame, sir? Well, I unlocked it. We might as well do Icy Speedway. And this is another one that's a bit haphazard with its placement. I pretty much just get all of these things as I see them. There's no, like, terrible rhyme or reason to it. I just go and then I just kill. Go in for the kill. These guys. This guy that's hanging over here. There probably is, like, some sort of rhyme or reason to it. It's totally lost on me now, because this is just the way that I've been doing it for quite a while. And if you do it just right, it's also a decent way to get the skill point. And then I think I loop back over here and start getting these arches and the last Ice Dancer. See, there's already 3 things down, so now we just gotta fly up. Pretty sure the time you have to beat is 1:15. And how did we do? Good enough to get the skill point. 1 foot. My gosh, I think I'm better at these speedways than I actually am. If one of these days is gonna bite me in the butt. Now, this is probably the easiest speedway in which to find Hunter, because he's right there.
Good job, Spyro. Looks like you're ready for a more serious challenge. How about a little paragliding? You're not afraid of heights, are you?
I'm not afraid of heights, but I am afraid of this challenge. This challenge wasn't terribly hard in the original, but in this one... Ugh.
Great! I'll tow you behind my snowmobile, and you maneuver through the rings. Don't miss any or we'll have to start over.
Now, I'm not entirely sure what makes this challenge harder. It could be the speed at which the snowmobile moves, it could be the speed at which you're able to control Spyro. It could be like maybe different spacing of the rings. Whatever it is, I have a lot of trouble with this challenge sometimes. It may look pretty straightforward, and that's because it is, and that's because it should be. Somehow, especially with these right here that kind of go in a line like that, and you have to kind of like, really sensitively push the stick just to get them. Like that right there. You see how I almost didn't make that? I think that's where I end up flubbing up a lot. But now look at this. I'm gonna get this my first try, so what the heck am I even saying?
Go Spyro! You're even better than I am.
Seems like with a lot of these challenges that I'm doing for this Let's Play, I do a lot better than I build it up to be, you know what I mean? And of course the inverse happens for a lot of other challenges. I say that it's really easy and then I flub it up. So let's dive right into this lovely freezing water and... ah, shucks. Okay, so before we do Shady Oasis, let's really quickly collect the rest of the orbs and the gems in the Autumn Plains hub. Now this took me quite a while to figure out when I was a kid. See this wall here? See how, you know, there's tiny little gaps in this patchwork here? Well, just like the wall that we destroyed at the end of the big old wall next to Metro Speedway, this one can also be destroyed. And it'll lead up here to this area. And see, there's the castle with Shady Oasis down there. Now, if you remember, the other orb in this level is on a lone island that's a little bit outside the level wall. And this is how you get to it. The tallest tower in all the land, the highest cliff in all the realms! Try to get it angled just right, and then we glide. And this orb is appropriately titled, and very simply titled, Long Glide. And here we are. And we're rewarded with 75 gems as well. The rest of the gems in the level. Excellent. And Shady Oasis is a little bit of a ways away. However, there is a bit of a shortcut.
Would you like me to take you to a world where you can find a new talisman?
Why, yes, I would.
Great. I'll take you to a new portal.
Yep. If you talk to Alora after she activates that whirlwind for you, then she'll take you to any level that you haven't completed yet. Huh. Alora can be pretty useful sometimes. God, I thought I had escaped that taunting noise. I wanted to say sound and noise at the same time, and it came out meow. Now, this is the level that I mentioned earlier, in which you kind of have to do some extra stuff just to get to the end of the level. It's all thanks to Shorty over here.
Spyro, it's a good thing you're here. I've been trying to get a berry out of this magic berry bush, but I'm just not strong enough. If you charge or flame the bush, one of those yummy berries should drop.
Just like so. And as you saw in the opening cutscene, he grows big and strong, and is able to bash through frickin' gates just like that, and also take out some enemies in his way. Pretty snazzy. Now, out of all of the redesigns in Spyro 2, I would have to say that this one is probably my favorite. It is one of the most vibrantly beautiful and colorful levels in the game. All of these lovely, like, blues and greens and oranges just pop right off the screen. And I have zero complaints about any of the character redesigns either. They look so good. I mean, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at his dead guy. And the hippos look really cool, too. They look so cute.
Guess you'll have to glide across to this berry bush.
Well, then, I guess I will. Thanks for spelling it out for me. Not that dumb, you know. I love it. There's one complaint I have about this level. It's the peacocks. They are freaking annoying. You ain't gonna get me today, Christina Aguilera! Let's see how many people are old enough to get that joke. Although, yeah, okay. I did just say this is my favorite redesign in Spyro 2, but I do have, actually, now that I think about it, 2 other complaints about it.
You'll have to go back to those steps you passed to reach this bush.
Will do. And another complaint that I have is that in the original, Shorty just kind of went to his own way. He was like the baby turtles in Sunny Beach. You didn't really need to give him any direction, he just went. In this one, you have to stick close to him, and if you get too far ahead of him or too far behind, then he won't move. Which is really annoying, especially for speedrunners. And another complaint that I have about this, and my friend Josh will attest to this, is that there's a small little Easter egg in the original, in which if you dropped a berry down here, which you actually can't drop a berry down here anymore once Shorty eats one, and you leave the enemy down there alive, the enemy will actually go over to the berry, eat it, rub his tummy, and go, hee. And both Josh and I were quite devastated that that was not left in the game. Maybe it's something they can fix with a patch, but we're not holding our breath. And Josh was especially devastated by it because that phrase is one that he references on the daily. It's pretty much in his daily vocabulary now. It's like one of his favorite references to make. It's such a malleable reference, too. It goes with any situation. And it was one thing that he was really looking forward for this redesign. And when he found out that it wasn't featured, I'm pretty sure he almost cried. And honestly, I don't blame him. There's a very also stop. My gosh, enough with the hanky-panky. I mean, I'm quite disappointed that it wasn't left in too. Out of all of the tiny little Easter eggs that we were expecting you to put in, that's the one that you gloss over. Just for shame, Toys for Bob, for shame. So we have a lava rock that we got from that pool earlier, and that's how we reached the last tree. Any minis in your path? Or neither of them that... Or actually, one of them. But still! And also the lighting in this level. Jesus. It just pops. It just freaking pops. I love it. I did it!
Thanks for helping me reach the Great Berry Bush. Now we can eat berries all the time. Here, take this. It's a gift from all of us hippos.
I'm not worthy.
Looking for something else to do? Talk to my friend Bruno over there.
You say over there, and then you point in the opposite direction where Bruno is. Do you not know how directions work, Shorty? I have a picture book that you could read if you're confused.
Spyro, 3 thieves have stolen our magical brass lamps. Please get the lamps before they take them away from Shady Oasis.
Yep, we actually have to encounter thieves that are able to outrun us. I thought we were free from these characters, but I guess not. And we have another mystery base. This makes, what, number 3 so far? Pretty sure there's a total of 4 in the entire game. I know they were featured in, Look, I almost dropped right on top of it. Oh my gosh, the freaking green ooze looks so good! Ugh. I do know that they also used the mystery bases in Spyro 3, but I'm like thinking back on Spyro 3, and I think it's only used in 2 levels, which is kind of weird. Why bring it back if you're going to use it so sparingly, you know? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You're probably wondering about that lockbox down there. Rocket. Rocket! Thank you. Did you sass me? Oh shit, I missed a gem down there. 2 gems. Well, I gotta go down there anyway to get those gems later, so... And also there's a lockbox here. You can see there's a bit of a target on top, which implies that we would need to do an attack from above, which we unfortunately do not know yet. There's also this guy over here.
Spyro, my brothers have been trapped in solid rock. I'm afraid you'll need to learn some kind of head bash move before you can help us.
Oh, so you mean this isn't good enough for you? This is enough of a head bash? But yeah. This whole time, I keep on saying that, oh, well, there's a special third move that you need to learn, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, because it'll ruin the immersion and spoilers and all that. And this dude just comes right out and says it. I totally forgot he did that. So, yeah. Third move that we learn is the head bash move, which is essentially a move that you can use to attack things from above. And that's also the move that we need to, help Hunter out in Fracture Hills. So this is, one of only 2 levels in Autumn Plains that we can't complete 100% quite yet. But we will. We will. Once I catch up to this goddamn thief! Ooh! Midair, I love it. That was lovely. Also, even though the challenge that you need for the head bash and invincibility is a really short one, and yet in this level the invincibility power-up lasts forever. I'm not really sure why that is. Go up here, and Mystery Maze appears right across from us. You can actually see us in the background there. Don't hurt yourself, Spyro, my goodness. And over here. And that's right at the start of the level. I'm not gonna go there quite yet. Actually, nah, heck. We'll go down there. We just gotta loop around a little bit to get to the last thief. And usually when I come down here first to get the rest of the gems, I totally forget to get the last thief, and I just exit the level automatically. But nope, let's just go the long way around. There he is. Now, I think this thief is made a little bit easier than he was in the original, because in the original he didn't have a scripted sort of figure 8 movement around these pillars. It was actually randomized whether he would go around the pillar several times, or whether he would go across to the next one, and also which direction he would go in. But this one, it's completely scripted. It's just a figure 8 pattern. Not complaining, because that just makes it that much easier. And I hate thieves, so I'm happy.
Thanks for bringing back the 3 magic lamps. Here, take this orb. Some fairy left it with me, but it won't hold a proper shine.
I don't know, looks pretty shiny to me. Yeesh. So we should be missing everything except for an orb and 20 gems in this level. And so we are. So, we've done all we can for now. Let's go.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
Learn to share.
Well done, Spyro. Now that you have all 14 talismans, your guidebook can break the lock on the door, and you can fight Gulp. Are you ready?
I was born ready. Roll!
You'll have to jump down the hole in the floor to get to where Ripto and Gulp are waiting. I can help you out a little bit. I tamed some pterodactyls from Skelos Badlands. They'll be dropping in objects that you can use to fight Gulp.
Excellent. Now, funny story. Gulp used to be, honestly, one of my favorite bosses in any game ever. He had a really cool concept. He looked cool, he had really neat attacks, and the way that you fight him is really, really neat. And while they retained most of that for this version of Gulp, he is made unnecessarily and excruciatingly difficult. Especially if you're going for the skill point that requires you to defeat him without taking damage. So without further ado, let's have Sparks mug for the camera. And also, let's look at Spyro's butt, and let's fight Gulp.
Gulp, we finally made Avalar ours. You've earned a special reward. Gulp, what is it, boy? Oh, the fairy. Here you go.
Not today, short stack. Run, Zoe, run! Or fly, flutter, whatever.
You singed my cape! Dragon, you are really starting to get on my nerves!
Starting to.
Goodbye, flame breath! Gulp! Lunchtime! Gulp! Finish him off and you can have all the berries you can eat! I'm going to enjoy this.
And I am not. If I do get hit, then I'm not gonna, like, restart the level or anything. I'm just gonna fight him just to fight him. There is a way in which we can defeat him a lot faster without taking damage later in the game. So, if I get hit, then I'll just wait until that happens. But for now, let's fight this guy. The hardest part about him is this frickin' belly flop attack. It's a lot easier to dodge in the first game, because all you gotta do is charge away from him. But in this one, it's all more about timing than anything else. You gotta, like, charge away from him almost right before he's about to land on you. But yeah, these pterodactyls drop these eggs that have weapons that you can use to fight them. As you can see, they drop barrels the first round, which you can use to charge into Gulp. You can also flame them to, like, help get them a little bit closer. And then there's these bombs here, which are supposed to... Really? That was dumb. Usually when you flame the bombs, they actually move forward. Usually. It's actually... You just charge them into Gulp after you flame them, I guess. It's a good way of doing it. And then the third round, the pterodactyls drop eggs that have... It would be great if you actually dropped an egg. Thank you. That have little rockets that we can actually carry around in our mouths. However, we're not going to use this on Gulp quite yet. We're actually... Hold on a second. Wait for him to attack once more. I'm actually going to use it on Ripto, because it's worth another skill point if you do that. Pretty sweet, huh? There's also a tiny bit of an exploit that you can use to defeat Gulp a little bit faster. So attack him with one of these, and then really pick up a rocket really quickly again. You can hit him immediately right afterward. This also tends to work out pretty well with hitting a barrel towards them and then quickly picking up a... Actually, no. You can pick up a rocket and then hit a barrel towards them, and then you can just hit him with the rocket the next round. And after the third round, everything is just kind of randomly generated by the pterodactyls. And Gulp is actually able to eat these himself to use for his own special attacks. I'm actually going to let him eat a few of these, so you can see what attacks they are. So he can fire his own rocket at you, just charge away from it. Oh god! Oh, I think it was the shockwave that hit me. And he can also use these bombs. And these things are pretty hard to avoid. It's all about getting in between these fireballs here, which I am terrible at, apparently. And if you get really low on health, then the pterodactyls will start dropping fodder for you. Just waiting for them to drop another barrel. You know what? I'm sick of waiting. Just take that. How did I get hit by that? Darn it! Oh yeah, this guy used to bring me a lot of joy, and now he's really annoying, honestly. He attacks a lot faster, and his attacks are a lot harder to dodge. He's just a pain in the butt now, honestly. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Please be a barrel. Oh my god, I hate you. Please be a barrel. Oh my god, I hate you. You know, I'm not gonna give you a chance to attack. There is one thing that I guess makes Gulp slightly easier, in that he has, I think, 2 fewer hit points than he did in the original. But that doesn't really change the fact that everything else about him is just hard as crap now. If anything, he's even harder than Ripto. See, that time the frickin' bomb went towards him. I unfortunately did not get to that rock in time. I will say Gulp's movements are really well animated, though. Especially, he looks like a lion or something when he does that roar. It's really cool. Now we fire 6 of these. Oh my god, they're hard to avoid. I will say, I haven't gotten hit by his belly flop attack once yet. That's rare for me. He's gonna eat that bomb, but I'm gonna do this. See, now the bomb goes forward. Why wasn't it doing that earlier? Be nice to me. Okay, that works. Okay. Oh, come on. Drop something that isn't fodder, please. I want this fight to end. Of course, now I get hit by his belly flop move. I didn't mean to flame that bomb. Oh my god, Murphy's Law up in this bitch. Okay, you know what? I don't care if I get hit by this. I just want you dead. I used to want you dead, now I only want you dead. See ya. I saved the world.
Spyro, you did it!
Whoa! Laura, where'd you come from?
I was just outside the castle in Autumn Plains. The castle is now free again. There's no sign of Ripto. And since you've been around, the creatures of Avalar are finally starting to get along. Since you've done so much for Avalar, and since I know you've really missed being on vacation, we really wanted to do something nice for you. It's not much, but we hope you like it.
Oh, wow, this is great. Aren't you gonna join me?
No. I'd like to, but I've got to go check on the professor in the winter tundra. He's still trying to fix the super portal so we can send you home.
Oh,
about time.
Sounds interesting. I think I'll just hang out here for a while and soak up a few rays.
God, I wish I could fall asleep that quickly.
Uh-huh. Hey, where did Laura go? I better follow her.
She just told you where she's going. My god, you never listen.
I think I've finally come up with a way to access the Dragon Worlds from the Super Portal. This power crystal should give us the extra boost that we need. Just a few more calculations to set it up.
His pencil
I
is
think I
tiny.
have it. Excellent. Everything is finally ready. We're going to need a lot more orbs, but with the power crystal boosting it, the Super Portal should work again.
Ruh-roh.
So, you thought you had gotten rid of me. Well, I'm afraid not. I persuaded that fat bear Moneybags to sell me a few bombs.
Where did he get those?
Power crystal!
Don't even try it, book boy, or you'll be the world's smartest pile of ashes. This is just what I need for a new scepter.
Hunter, do something, quick!
Hey, give that back!
Has that ever worked once in the history of the world?
I tried.
You little fools! After I destroy you all with my new scepter, I'm going to rename this place Riptonia!
Honestly, that is kind of a catchy name for a country. Another thing that I've noticed is that every time Ripto takes over a castle in each of the homeworlds, he kicks out Moneybags. Does that mean that Moneybags is the king of Avalar? It's never really fully explained.
Spyro, Ripto's still alive, and he's locked us out of the castle. Even worse, he's stolen our new power crystal for the super portal.
That's terrible. Here I come to save the day yet again. I thought I was done, but nope, I was not. Alright, we do have a few things that we can do here, but we might as well learn the last move that Moneybags has for us, and then do a little bit of backtracking.
Well, Spyro, it comes down to this. There's only one more thing I can teach you. And like all the best things, it doesn't come cheap.
Hey, the best things in life are free. Whoa, that's a lot of gems.
The head bash move is very simple, really. All you must do is jump and then press the action button.
Yep, that's all you need to know. 1,000 gems just to do that. However, it is surprisingly useful, especially this late in the game. You actually use it quite a bit. It's pretty neat. You can use it to destroy these rocks that have really weird collision detection. But if you do it, then you are able to access the rest of the level. And also get the rest of these rocks that are scattered around. But we're not going to do that quite yet. For now, let's finish up the Autumn Plains worlds, starting with Fracture Hills. And here we are. So you remember that area of Fracture Hills that has all of these Earth Shapers that we can't really kill, and Hunter trapped in stone, and this alchemist dude right here? Well, now that we have the head bash move, we can complete this level. And we can do this challenge, which every newcomer to Spyro 2 has heard about and seems to dread, but really, if you're used to it, it's pretty frickin' easy. Watch me mess it up.
Experimenting with a new potion. I'd like to try it out, but the Earth Shapers have made going out a bit difficult. Could you kindly offer me an escort?
Why, of course, Mr. Alchemist. I would love to provide you with an escort service.
Great! Just keep those Earth Shapers away from me, and I'll take this potion to Hunter.
You take this potion to Hunter. Alright, so what you gotta do is just defend the alchemist. By knocking these guys away from him. Now, yeah, that's the thing right there that makes this challenge a bit, difficult, because even though the alchemist's movements are entirely scripted and never change depending on how many times you play the game, his movements, don't really make a whole lot of sense. But if you know the pattern, then this is really easy. See, it looks like he's gonna go over this way, but then at the very last second, even though Hunter's right there, he turns right around. I think that's the part that really throws a bunch of people off. If you just knock that guy back a few times, then there it is, right there. And also I've noticed that the alchemist's movements are a bit janky. The way that he turns is very robotic.
Man, do my feet feel better. Would you look after this for me?
So I'm guessing that's like an animation that they didn't really have time to perfect. Which is a shame, but
As long
whatever.
as you're here, would you like to help me take out these stubborn Earth Shapers?
Absolutely, my friend.
All right. When I shoot an Earth Shaper with an arrow, you head bash him before he gets back up. Remember, head bash by jumping and then pressing the action button.
That's literally the first thing that I heard right before I came here. The last thing, I mean. I don't know the difference between first and last. Leave me alone. I'm not gonna go far in life. So when they're head bashed, I really am just messing this episode up right now. When they're shot with an arrow, just go over to them and head bash them. And again, it's not exactly clear in which order Hunter's gonna shoot them in, but again, the order in which he shoots them in is entirely scripted, so it's once you like get a feel for it after a few times, it's pretty easy. And also you can head bash them anywhere where they are on the ground. Like even like the tips of his fingers, you can head bash them and it still counts. Pretty easy stuff.
We make a great team. Here, I was gonna give this to the alchemist, but I'm a bit annoyed at him at the moment.
I do not blame you for that. What am I paying you for? This is why we need better healthcare, because of guys like that. Jeez. It's terrible. And there's Fracture Hills complete. So now that that's done, the only level that we need to go to is, Shady Oasis. The thing about that level is, you actually kinda have to complete it again, because for one thing, you have to get to the end of the level in order to access the orb challenge that requires head bash, and you also need to kill, I believe, all of the enemies, if not very close to all of them, just to unlock the invincibility power-up that you'll need. So I'm gonna head over there now and speed it up.
We're in control!
And we are finally here at long last. So, this is another one of those challenges that kind of had a bit of a nosedive in terms of difficulty, because yeah, this is a lot like the challenge in Sunny Beach where you have to save all the turtles from the chef. And you'll see what I mean in a minute.
My 8 brothers have been trapped in rock and will sink if you can't break them free. Head bash the rocks by jumping and then pressing the action button. Follow my lead.
Seriously, 8 brothers? My God, your parents must have just been... I'm just gonna say it, horny.
Follow me. And remember, jump and then press the action button to head bash.
Stop reminding me how to do what I already know how to do. So you go up to the lava, or the green gook, whatever it is, and then you just save all these guys by head bashing them. And yeah, these guys come out really, really slowly. Just like the turtles. In the original, they came out at like 2 or 3 at a time. Here it's just like, they come at once every, what, 5 seconds? And also, you didn't have all that much control of the camera, and the camera kind of rotated and pointed at the next brother that came out.
Thanks for freeing us. All I have to give you is this thingy I found. At least it's not a rock.
I think you've had your fair share of rocks for the day, little guy. And there we go. There's the other orb for Shady Oasis. And conveniently over here, in this lockbox here, is the rest of the gems that we need. Which means, of course, that Shady Oasis is complete. And that also means that Autumn Plains is complete. Huzzah! So, let me actually take a quick look at my skill points, make sure I've gotten all of them so far, except for Gulp. And yeah, we're making pretty good progress here. So, let's head back over to Winter Tundra. And here we is. Let's clear out some of these rocks first. Little things like this to get our percentage up. And then we'll start exploring some of these levels. I will admit that, for a final world, all of the levels here don't really seem all that endgamey. You really got that vibe from the first Spyro game. Also with this big rock where you have to head bash from up here, it contains an orb. But yeah. In the very first game, you kind of got the feeling that crap was getting real, because the difficulty was amped up quite a bit, and the Norks had freaking guns, and, you know, you got the vibe that you were at the very end of the game. Here, not so much. It doesn't really feel as epic or as final, and not even all that hard for the last few levels of the game. I mean, they're still fun levels, but I don't know. Seems like they could have gone a little bit crazier. Kind of got the same vibe from Spyro 3. I actually think Spyro 3's final world, Midnight Mountain, has some of the best levels, maybe even in the entire series. But again, for the most part, they weren't all that difficult, maybe with the exception of Dino Mines. And they just didn't really feel like, hey, this is the last world, this is final, so I don't know. And thankfully, this is the last time that we encounter moneybags in the game. Unfortunately, the last small fee that he asks of you is actually pretty darn small.
One last Speedway adventure for you, Spyro? It's not that expensive, you know.
See, even he says that, and he means it too. Also, you might notice that orb that's bouncing at the top of the waterfall in the background. I will soon make you mine.
You've chosen wisely. I bet a quick dragon like you will win your money back in no time.
You said the exact same thing for Icy Speedway. And you are still right. Canyon Speedway. This is maybe the hardest speedway? Let me think. I actually think Ocean Speedway might be a little bit harder than this one, but this is a close second. And this is also, I think, yeah, I would say maybe the only speedway in the game in which you can fairly easily get the skill point for the best time if you just get all these guys in the order that they appear, namely rams, rings, these, I'm guessing they're dirt bikes, maybe? They're something like that. Four-wheelers, even. Charge around this track here. You shouldn't be, like, jumping and spinning while you're operating a vehicle, sir. That's very dangerous and possibly illegal. Then these vultures are kind of flying around in a circle, as vultures do. It's kind of hard to get them all lined up, because even though they are flying in a circle, they are all at different heights, so you kind of have to keep on going up and down to get them all. And there's the skill point. I believe it's for, I want to say 115? Maybe even 110. Either way, I did really well. Heck yeah. Now, while I was getting the vultures, you might have seen Hunter tucked away in the mountain. Let's go say hi. And an easy way to get to him is to turn right around at the start here. Charge right along this track. And Hunter is right over here. And he has what looks like a pretty badass plane that looks like it was straight out of Ratchet and Clank. And he also has a remote control panel. Ooh, this looks exciting.
Alright, Spyro. Are you ready to try out my plane? I just fixed it, and I'm pretty sure it won't crash now.
Hey, I've heard of worse things happening with the term pretty sure attached to it.
Okay, Spyro. Here's what you gotta do. I've got the plane on remote control, so all you have to do is hit the targets with your machine gun. Press the attack button to fire the gun, and use your left stick to aim.
Pretty straightforward target practice stuff. Easiest way to do this is just whenever there's a target in sight, just keep your thumb depressed on the circle button. Keep moving your cursor around until you get it in your sights, and it should be a bullseye. Yeah, those blimps are probably the hardest part of the challenge. I think they move faster and are a bit smaller than they were in the original, so this challenge, for the first time in years, actually makes me kind of nervous. I haven't failed it yet, but give it time. I also love how even when you don't hit a target with everything that these projectiles hit, you see like a little fireworks explosion. It's a really neat effect. I like it. Get that one. Almost didn't. And now this part with these two blimps just right next to each other always makes me nervous, but there it is.
Nailed all the targets. It must be because you had such a good pilot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead and just wear that smug grin, Hunter. We all know who the real hero is here. Canyon Speedway is already done. So let's burn ourselves in the lava.